Hey guys, Jordan here. In this video I'm going to go over how to clean your camera, so let's get into it. Alright, so if you're out at a shoot, you got to have some tools with you. Say you're shooting a property and you're seeing a bunch of specks on your sensor or your lens. The best tool to have out in the field is one of these Giotto's. It's like a air duster sprayer, and then you can just spray it off. Now, the front element of your lens isn't the only place that gets sensor dust. Your sensor, if you have a mirrorless camera especially, because the sensor is just right there when you take off the lens, as well as the inside of the lens itself. So if you're out and about, I would just do the front element and see if that fixes your problem, because if you're in a dusty environment like Arizona, you want to avoid opening your camera when you could potentially introduce more dust. So a lot, if you're opening it up, you need to make sure you're in your car in a spot where it's not very dusty. So you'll want to check the inside element as well. I usually like to point it down when I spray in there too, so that the dust falls downward. You spray something off. The same thing with the sensor. So like even when I'm in the fields, like trying to clean off the sensor. And then you also want to have a good lighting and just look for specks. Just make sure that's nice and clean. And I like to go really fast, because the more time you have it open to the elements, the more likely you're going to introduce more dust to your camera. Now, there are ways that you can avoid getting dust in it in the future, and that's obviously not changing your lens when you're out in the field, which we don't recommend our photographers do. And then also on some lenses, like the G Master lenses, typically come with a rubber seal. Now, if you're shooting with like the Zeiss 16-35 f4 lens, it doesn't have a rubber seal on it, and so we use these big rubber bands, and we'll just wrap them around just to seal off the contact point between the lens and the body itself, just to seal out from additional dust getting in there. And then obviously if there are smudges, if somebody touched an element, you'll want to get like a microfiber towel or something like this, and you can just move in a circular motion. You don't want to scrub too hard. Obviously you don't want to scratch your lens, but anything, start with air. If that doesn't work, then go for this. If it's a smear, right, you don't want to rub like a piece of sand or something around in your lens. Now sometimes there might be like a watermark or something like that on your sensor, or something that's really hard to get off. You can't get it off with the air duster, and that's when I recommend getting one of these kits. You can get them pretty inexpensive on Amazon. This is a full frame sensor cleaning kit, and what it is are just these. Now you can open it up. Actually, I'll open one up just to show you what it looks like. It's just it looks like a little, well, maybe I can't open it up. Here we go. Alright, it just looks like this. And you want to make sure you have the right kit for the right size sensor that you have. So if you have a full frame, get the full frame kit if you're shooting APS-C, because you want just to be able to wipe across, and it's pretty easy. So then you'll just put a couple drops of the solution that comes in the kit, obviously, and then you just want to be very gentle, not too much, get it too wet, but it's like alcohol and it'll dry off, and that typically will fix it. Now, if you have other issues with your sensors outside of what that can fix, then you're probably going to have to send it in for service. But yeah, but I don't recommend doing this kind of stuff out in the field. You want to make sure you're in an environment that doesn't have a bunch of dust in the air. So anyways, that's how to clean your camera, as well as avoid getting dust in it, especially for mirrorless cameras. And then if for some reason the air doesn't get it off, you can use one of these. So anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. If you got value out of this video, make sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing to our channel if you're interested in the real estate photography business, because that's what I put out a lot of videos on. Obviously, this was a video about cleaning a camera, but more for in the real estate realm of things. So anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Reach out if you have any questions. We'll see you guys on the next one.